The question of what are the different stages of a federal crime from investigation to trial, there's a lot of steps. I would highly advise someone who's being investigated for a federal crime to contact Deandra Grant Law as soon as possible. Some of the key steps there are, from the investigation itself, that's where federal agents are going through the investigation process. You may receive something like a letter from them, or even have them show up at your door. And then in a federal charge, it goes through a charging grand jury segment where it has to go through a grand jury process. This is really kind of a quality control process for them to move forward with the charge. If once a crime has gone from investigation through that grand jury charging process, you're going to have an initial hearing and arraignment. This is where it's going to tell you exactly what you're charged with. And then from there, where there's a discovery process. At that point, you're dealing with federal prosecutors and your defense team. Your defense team is going to be doing their own investigation, as well as getting information from the federal prosecutors, which is the discovery of what they believe is evidence to be used against you. Plea agreements usually start to take place at that point. And when I say plea agreements, understand we're talking about negotiations. If a plea agreement is negotiated, sometimes that's going to kind of lead us to the end of that process. However, if a plea agreement is not something that is going to be accepted, then we're going to go through a preliminary hearing, which is kind of almost like a mini trial for the state to be able to present some evidence to the judge, and the judge is going to make a determination on probable cause before going into the trial. And as an aside, even before the trial, we usually see some pretrial motions that go back and forth. So there's a lot of processes. And that was only to name some of them.